Hello and welcome to this edition of Culture Mosaic, a weekly journal that brings you the latest updates on the Vietnamese cultural and entertainment scenes. Join us this week as we delve into the life and work of an American photographer who found the love of his life in Vietnam, and in his own words, Vietnam is who he is. Our lifestyle segment will explain to you why many Vietnamese love to visit pagodas and enjoy the mindfulness and inner peace pagodas can offer. Last but not least, our Connecting Cultures will show you an exhilarating encounter between Vietnamese and Japanese fine art. And from that fusion of inspirations, we'll learn to appreciate the beauty of Vietnamese traditional art in a fresh and new angle. Visiting Pagoda, journey to mindful awareness and inner peace. Peter Steinhauer, Vietnam is who I am. Fusion of inspirations, young artists amplify Vietnamese traditional art through Japanese woodblock prints. Now let's begin with some local news. The Spring Festival took place at the Vietnamese Ethnic Culture and Tourism Village on February the 24th, with celebrations occurring in regions across the country. State President Võ Văn Thưởng attended the event, experiencing the vibrant and colorful cultural diversity of the various ethnic groups that make up the great family of Vietnamese people. The state president stated that the vitality of traditional national cultural values could foster the development of the cultural industry and tourism. He emphasized that the wealth and richness of cultural resources could increase economic development opportunities, generating prosperity for each country. He also mentioned that cultural diversity is a path to attracting tourists and friends worldwide. The 22nd Vietnam's Poetry Day celebration took place at the Thăng Long Imperial Citadel from February the 23rd to the 24th. Nguyễn Trọng Nghĩa, the head of the Party Central Committee's Commission for Popularization and Education, was in attendance. A highlight of the event was the National Harmony Poetry Night, which showcased masterpieces of Vietnamese ethnic folk literature, including the Tay's 100 Birds and 100 Flowers and the Muong's Give Birth to the Land. This was followed by poem recitals accentuated with musical and light performances featuring works from 16 domestic and international poets. This year's Poetry Day aimed to honor the contributions of ethnic groups to Vietnamese poetry and to celebrate national unity. Đào, Phở and Piano, or Peach Blossoms, Phở and Piano, has become a cinema sensation just 1 week after its release. Surprisingly, it is the first state-funded historical movie to make headlines and sell out every screening. The film debuted exclusively at the National Cinema Center in Hanoi on the first day of the Lunar New Year, with just 3 screenings per day initially. However, after viral TikTok reviews, its popularity exploded. Despite scheduling up to 18 screenings daily, the cinema couldn't meet the escalating demand. The film depicts the final day of the 60-day Battle of Hanoi from 1946 to 1947, marking the beginning of the First Indochina War. The portrayal of old Hanoians during the war has left indelible impressions. Despite the overwhelming success of other million-dollar box office hits, Đào, Phở và Piano has captivated its target audience. An Bàng Beach in Quảng Nam Province and Mỹ Khê Beach in Da Nang City, both in central Vietnam, have been voted among the top 10 best beaches in Asia by readers of renowned travel website TripAdvisor. The U.S. travel site recently announced its Traveler's Choice Best of the Best Beaches 2024 rankings for Asia, with less than 1% of the 8 million listings achieving this recognition. An Bang Beach is celebrated for its powder white sand and clear skies, making it an ideal location for swimming and snorkeling. Meanwhile, Mỹ Khê Beach offers everything needed for a relaxing beach day: soft, powdery sand, a gentle surf, and swaying coconut trees. Other top-ranking beaches are from Indonesia, Thailand, South Korea, India, and Sri Lanka. Booking.com, a digital travel platform connecting travelers with various services, recently released its top 10 friendliest destinations in Vietnam. The top 3 include Hội An, Phong Nha, and Ninh Bình. Other destinations on the list are Cao Bằng, Phú Quốc, Hà Giang, Hạ Long, Đà Lạt, Tuy Hòa, and Nha Trang. According to Booking.com, this year's list is diverse, featuring accommodations in locations ranging from beautiful beaches to peaceful mountains, allowing a thorough assessment of the hospitality of these destinations. Immersed in the collective consciousness of the Vietnamese people, pagodas hold profound associations with serene rural life, serving as havens of solace amidst the tumultuous waves of daily existence. Symbolizing aspirations for joy and abundance, these sacred spaces offer more than mere physical respite. They beckon individuals to embark on a sensory journey, engaging sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch as they delve into contemplation and seek inner tranquility. Join us in this week's Culture and Lifestyle edition as we unravel the transformative power of pagoda visits, exploring how they awaken the senses, foster mindfulness, and pave the way towards profound inner peace.
Ngài Pagoda in Hà Đông District, Hanoi hosts daily Buddhist practice sessions. These sessions specialize in reciting Buddhist mantras and delivering Dharma talks. Older attendees often come to pray for rebirth, while younger ones seek to accumulate merit. Although everyone has their individual purpose, their collective goal is liberation and purity.
Bước vào trong ngôi chùa này, cái nền đá hoa đấy thì nó có cái cảm giác mát lạnh, nó làm cho mình chững lại mà mình để ý đến cái đôi bàn chân của mình. Khi mình bước thì mình từng bước mình đến mình lễ Phật với cái lòng thành kính nhất. Thì lúc đấy mình cảm giác thì mọi khi là mình không bao giờ mình để ý đôi chân của mình đi bôn ba tất bật, lo toan cuộc sống, cơm áo gạo tiền, mình không biết nữa là mình đi những đâu và mình chỉ biết là nghĩ đến đầu tiền để mình đi. Nhưng còn bây giờ mình đến chùa thì mình thấy được cái đôi chân của mình cảm nhận được từng cơ thể, từng hơi thở của mình luôn. Là mình bước từng bước một xong rồi là mình lễ Phật. Thì lúc đấy cảm giác nó an lành lắm. Khi mà tâm an thì có một cái năng lượng tích cực trong mình phát ra. Và từ đấy là mình đón nhận tất cả mọi biến cố xảy ra trong cuộc sống bằng tất cả tình yêu thương và hoan hỉ đón nhận nó.
Nghe tiếng chuông chùa hoặc là tiếng giảng pháp của sư ấy, những cái âm thanh mọi người niệm A Di Đà Phật ấy, nó thực sự là chạm đến trái tim của mình. Càng nghe thì mình càng thấy rằng là nó dạy cho mình những cái bài học về nhân quả. Chùa ấy thì mang đến cho con người ta cái sự tự tại và sự an yên. Lúc đó mình không còn cảm giác như là vật lộn hay mưu sinh ngoài kia nó ảnh hưởng đến con người mình nữa. Vì vậy mà mỗi lần đến chùa xong thì khi mà đi về mình cảm giác mình là một con người mới. Mình hoàn toàn có được những tư duy mới và cách sống của mình cũng thay đổi từng ngày.
After the nearly 4-hour retreat, Buddhists and pilgrims share vegetarian meals. From fragrant sticky rice to carefully plated dishes, everything is prepared by human hands. As such, expressing gratitude before meals has become an indispensable ritual.
Trước khi ăn chúng ta phải niệm Phật, mỗi tiếng niệm Phật để giúp chúng ta ơn những người đã nấu cho chúng ta những món ăn ngon. Những bữa ăn chay ở tại chùa ấy sẽ ăn trong chánh niệm, và cái ăn chánh niệm ấy sẽ giúp cho chúng ta cảm nhận được cái món ăn có một cái mùi vị rất là nhẹ nhàng, tinh khiết, dù rất thanh đạm nhưng rất ấm lòng.
Many people seeking to practice mindfulness and awaken their senses prefer visiting pagodas with poetic landscape and quiet spaces. Tao Sek Pagoda, located on the shore of West Lake, is a prime example.
Vào chùa, cái màu sương khói của trầm nhang làm cho cảnh chùa nó lãng đãng một chút, như chốn phiêu bồng ạ. Cái điều ấn tượng đối với cá nhân mà khi đi lễ đó là được chắp tay với Đức Phật, nhất là Phật Bà Quan Thế Âm Bồ Tát. Tôi ngắm cái tai rất dày, rất dài. Đôi tai đấy đã phải lắng nghe rất nhiều nguyện cầu của chúng sinh. Và những ánh mắt Phật nhìn rất là độ lượng, bao dung và từ bi. Mình cũng tự cảm thấy là trong cuộc sống này, mình hãy biết nhìn và biết lắng nghe. Thích nhất đó là cái âm thanh xung quanh chùa. Khi mà hồi chuông vang lên ấy, mọi thứ nó như dừng lại. Cái tiếng chuông chùa nó cũng thức tỉnh trong tôi rất là nhiều cái cảm giác là mình được giải tỏa.
Sự lan tỏa của tiếng chuông ấy, nó nhẹ nhàng, nó thấm đẫm, nhưng người ta thấm dần cả cái trí tuệ của Phật giáo. Nghe tiếng chuông ấy, thì trước hết cảm giác an bình, yên vui. Cái sự an bình là cho tất cả mọi người chúng sinh, còn cái vui là vui trong tâm mình. Khi nghe thì gần như mình được giải thoát. Đấy, cho nên đạt đến sự an lạc. Tiếng chuông như là nhắc nhở mình sống nó có một cái chất lượng sống, một phẩm chất sống cao hơn. Mình cảm thấy mình sống cuộc đời nó tử tế hơn, nó giàu tình thương hơn. Trước hết đối với người trong gia đình, đối với bạn bè, đối với những người mà chưa có một cái cuộc sống nó như mình.
Only when one understands the values of life and is grateful for their possessions can one find peace and serenity within their soul. This is why, for many generations, Vietnamese pagodas have served as a bridge between religion and life.
To me, Vietnam is who I am. These profound words echoed from Peter Steinhauer, an accomplished American artist and photographer, when asked about the significance of Vietnam in his life. Enveloped in a childhood with a vivid imagery of Vietnam, his artistic journey has flourished through capturing the breathtaking landscapes and a captivating people of this land. Over the past 3 decades, alongside his Vietnamese wife, he has devoted himself to elevating awareness of Vietnamese culture in the United States through their unique endeavors. Join us this week as we delve into the depths of Peter Steinhauer's life story and the extraordinary connection he shares with Vietnam in our exclusive interview on the mic.
Đẹp trai. Đẹp trai lắm.
Being fluent in Vietnamese makes it easier for him to make Vietnamese friends.
Khi anh đến đâu đó thì mọi người lại kể chuyện hồn nhiên như thế về cuộc sống, về rất là nhiều thứ xung quanh, thì mình thấy là đấy là cái tài liệu rất là thú vị.
The longer he lives in Vietnam, the more Vietnamese culture permeates his soul and mind.
He's American, and he knows how to sit like a Vietnamese, and he eats like a Vietnamese. So I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about where I came from.
His familiarity with every corner of Vietnam inspires him to create even more artistic photographs.
Recording the culture and preserving the culture is my mission.
Peter Steinhauer is a well-known American artistic photographer. His photographs are simultaneously quiet and vibrant. Peter specializes in capturing urban and natural landscapes, man-made structures, and portraits, primarily in Asia, with a particular focus on Vietnam. His finely crafted prints are showcased in galleries and museums around the world. He has received numerous international photography awards, including one for his work in Vietnam. He has published several books on Vietnam, such as Vietnam, Portraits and Landscapes in 2002 and The Enduring Spirit of Vietnam in 2007, the latter of which has won international prizes.
Good morning. Thank you for accepting our invitation and welcome to this week's edition of On the Mic.
Wow, thank you for having me here.
To many photo enthusiasts, I'm sure the name of Peter Steinhauer is not an unfamiliar name. You have gotten a lot of prizes and awards for your photography works in Vietnam. And I know that all of them, of course, are amazing works in their own ways. But if you have to pick one, just one that you're very satisfied with, maybe a story behind it, then what would it be?
In Vietnam, it was in a time, 1993, 2.5 years before the U.S. embargo lifted. It was a photograph that I made the very first week I arrived. The title is Le Van Khoi, and he was an herbalist in Hanoi. That one, when you see it, it really says Vietnam all over it, and particularly it says Hanoi. And it's also something that it's special for me because you don't see people like this any longer. They were of Vietnamese who were, at that time, who had no interactions or their business or their work didn't have any Western influence, that they were just purely Vietnamese. That work is probably sold more than most of my work. It attracts the most attention. I have gotten awards for that as well, for portraiture, even though I don't work that way any longer.
As a photographer that you are now, would you say that you have a certain trademark, something that, let the viewers know that is your work?
I do feel that I have a certain look to my work. Usually I work with kind of dramatic atmospheric conditions when I have skies in the environment. I always work in a very subdued light, very soft lighting. I don't work in the middle of the day, but it's very soft light. And that's the way I like to work.
From portrait and landscape projects to architectural ones, Peter consistently exhibits a photography style that not only showcases architecture but also reveals the cultural narratives behind it. The Community Houses project is one such example.
For me, I lived in Hanoi, I was completely taken by them as well. I know that those are part of the essence of Hanoi. When I took that project on, I try to photograph them in the respect that they are. Okay. And so to see them being torn down and taken away, that shows that some of the culture, is disappearing. And so, again, that's part of my work, is to photograph a lot of things to preserve them photographically.
Peter's most recent trip back to Vietnam was for his cathedral project. He spent over 6 months in Hanam, Nam Dinh, Ninh Ben, and Thai Ben, frequently traveling back and forth to capture the best images of cathedrals. For him, the perfect photo is a combination of good lighting, clouds, and the sky.
That was Nhà thờ Giáo Sú, landmark in Hanam province. That was at evening, and when the actual sun was actually going down. So once you can't see the sun, it's actually going down. In photography terms, it's called the magic hour. This beautiful light where the light bounces up, hits the atmosphere, and it just fills the sky and or the surrounding land. So the image, which was great. And in the background, you can see the mountains, and yeah, that was a beautiful shot. I was very lucky with that.
The equipment used in photography can uniquely enhance the resulting photo.
I have a photo mast. In English, it's called a pneumatic mast. And there's 8 sections of it, and each one is 1 meter. You put the camera on top, and you pump it up, and the 1 meter sections will go up. So I can put my camera up 8 meters in the air to get the perspective that I want. It's very unique, very, very rare.
I mean, we're here at the cathedrals, like one of your ongoing projects, I suppose.
Yes.
Is there an ending goal to this project?
The end goal of this project is to photograph as many as I can in the original materials and document those mainly before they are either destroyed and built up into new churches, but with the original structure that the architect, whoever that was, how they envisioned them, that can involve the tile roofs, all the motifs that are around the windows and around the sides of the roof and so on.
How did you learn about Vietnam and what led you here?
Yeah, the background with Vietnam for me came from my father, who was a doctor in Da Nang in 1966 and 67. And so when I was born while he was here, but when he came back, growing up our whole lives, we had slideshows of his photographs that he took on the weekends, going around to the surrounding villages and so on, outside of the military base. And I learned about Vietnam through those. And then from 3rd grade until I was a senior in high school, I gave slideshows of his photographs for extra credit until I was 18 years old. And so when I finished art school, that's when I moved to Hanoi, and I'd planned to stay here for about 2 months, get some photographs, and as soon as I landed, I think I found where I'm supposed to be. And I want to live here longer. I want to try for 1 year. And I lived in Vietnam for 12 years, and I'm still coming back for 30.
Among Peter's thousands of photos, the one titled Hanging Bridge in Son Ma Province, 1995 could be considered one he was destined to take.
Năm 1995, tôi thấy một bức hình trắng đen rất là đơn giản, nhưng khi tôi đi gần, cảm xúc rất là mạnh ở trong tim tôi. Tôi cứ suy nghĩ giống như là mẹ của tôi bồng tôi từ nước Việt sang nước Mỹ. Khi mà sang cái cầu đấy là giống như là sang một dòng nước khó khăn từ một bên qua bên kia. Tôi đã đi Việt Nam nhiều lần nhưng tôi không có cảm xúc đó. Nhưng cái tấm hình này nó làm tôi nhớ lại là gốc tôi là người Việt.
I knew I had something special. It was just a really special image, and it turns out later on, maybe 25 years later, that's the image that my wife saw that moved her, and she ended up contacting me.
Since then, Aaron Phuong and Peter Steinhauer have chosen to promote Vietnamese culture in the United States by showcasing it in prestigious venues. These include the Smithsonian Institution and the renowned Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts.
To have an event of this scale here in the district is something we're very proud of.
Connects me back to my heritage a lot because seeing something as distinct as this is really, really cool.
2023 marked only the second year that the Vietnam Society had successfully organized Vietnam Week in the U.S. However, this achievement was the result of their patient and undaunted pursuit of their mission over the course of 20 years.
We're focusing on to help them and bring their culture back to where they're living now.
Anh Sơn này là tìm ca sĩ à?
International award-winning movies about Vietnam, dialogues about literature, and performances showcasing both traditional and modern Vietnamese culture have garnered attention from U.S. media, Vietnamese Americans, and Americans with an appreciation for Vietnamese culture.
Through the commonality, through the rediscovery, Vietnamese arts and culture are proud of 4,000 years.
I know that all your photography works has been in Vietnam, and now even with Vietnam Society as an organization aims at promoting Vietnam's culture. So do you have any consistent message that you have in your work as well as the activities of the organization?
I want to do this for the Vietnamese people. I want to do it for future generations to be able to look back to say like, wow, this is what Hanoi looked like. So that's part of my work, is to document before modernization and before change happens. So that's a consistent message
Yeah, so I think that will be my last question and also the end of our interview. Thank you again for answering them with such sincere answers, and I hope you all the best in your upcoming journeys.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great talking with you.
Experience the allure of Vietnamese silk paintings, which beautifully embody Japanese aesthetics, and immerse yourself in the enchanting world of Đông Hồ folk paintings, where endearing animal figures live lives akin to humans. These mesmerizing artworks, a mere fraction of the 38 on display, form the heart of the dialogue with Japanese ukiyo-e woodblock prints exhibition. Nestled within the revered temple of literature, this extraordinary showcase not only pays homage to Vietnam's cultural heritage and traditional art materials, but also cultivates an exhilarating encounter between Vietnamese and Japanese fine arts. By doing so, it ignites a fresh search of inspiration for budding artists, urging them to nurture their own artistic creativity.
Drawing inspirations from the style of Bajinga, a Japanese woodblock print genre depicting beautiful women. The artwork, The Mulberry Picking Lady, by painter Trần Thị Hội, narrates the life story of Empress Dowager Y Lan, a woman renowned for her exceptional talent and beauty in Vietnamese history. While the painting uses traditional Vietnamese materials, such as silk and gió paper, it also incorporates Japanese artistic elements harmoniously.
Tôi có sử dụng một cái là cái đối thoại, tức là dùng phong cách kiểu vẽ kỹ thuật của tranh khắc gỗ nhưng mà lại được vẽ trên chất liệu truyền thống của Việt Nam. Có một cái đặc điểm nổi bật trong dòng tranh ukiyo-e là trên mỗi cái áo kimono của người mỹ nữ ấy, thì đều có những cái họa tiết hoa văn rất là đẹp và mang đặc trưng của một cái gia tộc. Cho nên trong bức tranh thứ hai đấy thì tôi có sử dụng đó chính là họa tiết của thời kỳ Lý Trần. Trong tranh của tôi thì tôi cũng có sử dụng đôi mắt của người phụ nữ ở đây là nhỏ, những đôi mắt nhỏ, sống mũi dài và miệng thì hình trái tim.
Influenced by the captivating ukiyo-e woodblock prints,
artist Tuệ Thư skillfully combines two techniques:
wood carving and gradation painting. In her collaborative artwork titled Endless January, this mesmerizing piece depicts a joyful rhyme where humans and animals coexist. At first glance, it evokes a Japanese-style inn, but upon closer examination, viewers discover that the main characters are actually animals inspired by Đông Hồ folk paintings.
Dòng tranh Đông Hồ thì cũng là một dòng tranh khắc gỗ rất là nổi tiếng của Việt Nam và có những cái nét tương đồng với cả dòng tranh ukiyo-e. Họ lấy chủ đề của con vật ra để sử dụng rất là nhiều. Mình muốn đưa hình ảnh của những cái con vật trong dòng tranh Đông Hồ vào trong cái tác phẩm này. Những cái hành động của con vật đấy thì được lấy một chút từ dòng tranh ukiyo-e, ví dụ như là những cái mà có những con gà viết thư pháp này, có những con vật thì đang được ngồi cô tác trự là lại bàn sưởi rất là cổ điển của Nhật, để cho những con vật của dòng tranh Đông Hồ được hưởng những thú vui của con người bên dòng tranh ukiyo-e.
Within the exhibition, visitors will encounter a captivating array of recreated classic Vietnamese paintings, offering a refreshing perspective. One such example is the Vietnamese painting The Mouse Wedding, inspired by the renowned Japanese artwork The Fox Wedding. Recreated on giang paper, it embraces the typical color palette of ukiyo-e paintings. Another notable piece, titled Waves, skillfully combines elements from the iconic ukiyo-e painting The Great Wave with the symbolic space of Hanoi, the capital city. These artworks, born out of dedicated efforts of the artists involved in the From Tradition to Tradition project, their aim is to preserve and promote the timeless beauty of folk paintings in the modern era.
Khi mà thực hành nghệ thuật thì bọn mình mong muốn có một cái nhìn cởi mở hơn đối với cách tiếp cận của vấn đề. Nó không còn gói gọn trong một chủ đề gần gũi nữa, mà mình sẽ đi xa hơn để nhìn được tổng quát hơn. Hội họa thế giới bây giờ
nó đang như thế nào để mình có thể quay lại và mình phát triển thế mạnh của mình. Với cái dự án đối thoại với dòng tranh ukiyo-e, mình cũng mong muốn là giới thiệu dòng tranh truyền thống của Việt Nam mình, cụ thể là dòng tranh hàng trống hoặc là dòng tranh đồng hồ, và cũng như là dòng tranh ukiyo-e đến với được đông đảo khán giả hơn.
Cái dự án lần này thì nó không phải là một cái dự án để vẽ giống cái tranh của ukiyo-e, mà thực sự nó chỉ là để đối thoại. Vì thế nên những cái tác phẩm nó học hỏi, nhưng mà với một cái tinh thần mà được kể lại chính những cái tâm tư, câu chuyện, những cái suy nghĩ của cái giới trẻ bây giờ. Đấy, và được thể hiện ra bằng cái chất liệu nghệ thuật mà truyền thống của Việt Nam, như lụa, như sơn mài, giấy gió, giấy da, đúng không? Đấy, nhưng mà nó lại được trưng bày ở một cái hình thức nó hiện đại. Thì lần này có thể nói nó là một cái bước tiến khi mà các bạn ấy gần như là phải nghiên cứu lại một cái dòng tranh mới hoàn toàn.
Nestled within the Temple of Literature, the exhibition has attracted the attention of many visitors, especially international tourists. Many viewers have expressed their interest and impression at the exhilarating encounter between Vietnamese and Japanese fine arts.
It's beautiful and very interesting to see. Of course, I'm not very familiar with like the original Vietnamese fine arts, but seeing this in combination with Japanese, I can see the roots of both in one painting. It's a lot of bright colors. It represents your culture very well in how I have experienced it so far.
Tôi thấy ở đây rất là nhiều phong cách vẽ tranh của Việt Nam khác nhau, nhưng mà khi mà kết hợp lại với phong cách của Nhật đều cho ra cũng thêm nhiều cái bức tranh khá là độc đáo.
The exhibition Dialogue with Japanese Ukiyo-e with Block Prints showcases the efforts to embrace global artistic legacies while preserving Vietnam's traditional cultural values. This initiative sparks a fresh wave of creativity among young artists, enriching the nation's fine arts scene. Moreover, it fosters meaningful cultural exchange between Vietnam and other countries, strengthening bonds and promoting mutual understanding.
And that is the end of our programs. If you'd like to catch us online, download the VTV Go app from your Google Play or App Store, or simply tune in our YouTube channel for more of our programs. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode of Culture Mosaic. Goodbye for now.